So welcome guys to this VOD review, my second VOD review. Thank you user Arnie for the win for sending me this VOD review. It's a 2.5 skill rating match against two teams that are pretty interesting because they have 3 gold, 1 plat, 2 diamonds, so pretty mixed composition in terms of skill rating. I can't hear their comms. I know that they're communicated because Arnie told me, but he couldn't record them for some reason. A pity, but okay. It's a console match, and Arnie plays Reinhardt. Just some disclaimer, I'm not a Reinhardt pro, so I will give you some tips about Reinhardt because I think there is some pretty intermediate, basic to intermediate stuff that you can improve with your Reinhardt. But for more advanced Reinhardt stuff, for sure check other VOD reviews of expert Reinhardts. But anyway, I don't think that's the main advice I want to give you. It's not about your Reinhardt, it's about your team tactic. Yeah, your team strategy, because I think you made a crucial mistake that many teams do, and really define your whole rounds. So yeah, let's get to it. I'm talking too much as usual. I hope it helps, and I hope you learned something from it. I'm gonna just skip a little bit. No, too much. Okay, so this is gonna be your final composition, right? So I researched a little bit about differences of meta between PC and console, and some people say there are, some other people say there aren't. Of course, in my opinion, I think there are, because they're inherently two different games. Not radically different, of course, but in some ways. Although I think you have like you don't have the two best healers here, so Lucio and Ana. And from what I read, they really played in a higher elo in console. I understand that you don't have Ana. Okay, Ana is harder to aim, and maybe your friend thinks probably does better job at Mercy. Okay, fair enough. Zenyatta is also good on defense, so it's okay. Not that critical, but I do think that with 3 tanks you should have tried Ana, because it would have been a lot easier to heal the tanks, and she would have gained charge really fast. As well, the McCree, a bit questionable pick as well. Console, a bit harder to flick, to have the same impact as you have, I guess, in PC, and you would have done a lot better with a Pharah Mercy, which I know it's really typical in console, but I will explain that later. Even a soldier I think would have been better, because he would have been able to put more pressure on the enemy team. But yeah, I mean, not critical, but I think all these things influence the outcome of the game. So yeah, let's just skip ahead a little bit. Your position, so you're you're breaking all the map. Thank God you don't have to pay for it. And your position is pretty standard. Up here, high ground, cool. Let's see what happens. Just gonna pass a little bit, blah blah blah. Okay, here's the enemy team. What the fuck? You were already dead. And your team is already dead, all of them, when you respawn. Shit, that was fast. Let's go back to see what happened here. That was freaking fast. So I divided the VOD review in fights. So this is fight number 1. I think it's easier to understand the whole round, and to segment, and I like to structure things as well and segment them, so I think it's easier to understand the whole thing. So this is fight number 1, and you get really stomped hard in fight number 1. First thing I would like to comment in fight number 1 is your Zarya, because let's look at the Zarya. Your Zarya shields there. Why? It's like maybe she wanted to get some charge, but I think she didn't get any charge. She wasted a cooldown, and what the hell? She shields the McCree while he's behind your shield. While you have a full shield, there's no danger, and there aren't even enemies there. So she basically just starts the fight with 0 charge and both her cooldowns used. I think she really needs, or I'm sorry, he probably really needs to work on his shields, because this was a constant throughout the game. And this is one of the reasons as well why the enemy team charged in so easily. It was a breeze for them because your Zarya, it was not the only reason, but was one of them, because your Zarya had like 0 charge and couldn't put that much pressure. Let's see what happens next. Sorry, about the position of the Zarya here. It really doesn't make any sense. The Zarya should be behind your shield. She's not a flanker, she's not gonna put a wall, a nice wall, she's not gonna one-shot anyone coming in, so it doesn't make any sense. She should be behind your shield. She's very exposed there and really doesn't make any sense. You Fire Strike, okay, you get quite a bit of ult percentage, cool. Fire Strike is your main source of ult percentage, so you should always be Fire Striking, that's very cool. Your Roadhog picked D.Va, unfortunate, I guess happens. It's the worst target he could have picked, because you can't one-shot him, especially when you have your Zarya so low as well. But here you drop the shields and you start swinging, and you're dead. So here, I think the main thing as well is that you would have to expect the enemy Rein to charge in. So in this position, enemy Reins really like to charge in because they can also bump people out of the map, and it's a really good way to create space, and that's exactly what the enemy Reins did. And you had a moment of distraction where you didn't even see that the enemy Rein was charging in, because I think you started swinging maybe at the D.Va. Sorry. It's like D.Va gets hooked and you Fire Strike, and then you start swinging, but the D.Va is not there anymore, and you don't even see the enemy Reins charging in. When the enemy Rein charges in this case your team had 4 options. You could charge back at him to counter his charge, McCree could stun him, Roadhog could hook him, Zarya could shield the person that he pins. None of those things happen, so basically the enemy Rein just charged in, created space, and did his job really well. And they had a Reaper, so you bait for the Reaper. What I think you should have done more is, okay, D.Va gets hooked, but you maintain your shield and you look at the front line, what's happening, because you really need to keep an eye on the enemy Reinhardt. It's almost like Rein versus Rein fight all the time. And you don't do that, so you don't see him charging. Also, I know there was almost hardly any reaction time, but with the Reaper, putting a shield up is not going to do much, because he will just shoot through you through your shield, because he can flank you. So charging in would have been a good option to try to kill the Reaper. As well, another thing that I felt here, and this is my third remark. So first is your Zarya's role. Second is the fact that you didn't hold door well. You didn't hold the door that much because you got a little bit distracted. It was very fast. I recognize that, but you should always keep an eye on what the enemy Rein is doing all the time, and you should have expected him to charge. And third, I think it's the fact that your team didn't put enough pressure on the enemy team. So your Roadhog didn't right click when they were in the hallway. Your McCree, I don't think he right clicked either, and McCree can't put as much pressure as a soldier or as a Pharah. And your Zarya had no charge, so I don't think she even right clicked into the enemy team, and she was really in a position that she couldn't right click because she was really in a bad position. So you put no pressure on the enemy team, and the enemy team just charges in and creates space. Also, they have a crazy flanking Symmetra, but I don't know what happened back there because we couldn't see it. And I can't hear your comms. Okay, so you get pretty stumped. And this was fight number 1. Immediately you need to, when things go this bad, You need to just press tab and think about enemy composition and yours and counterpick. Look at them. They don't have a hit scan. Bing, bing, bing. They don't have a soldier. They don't have a McCree. They don't have even an Anna. So if you would have run a Pharah here, maybe instead of a McCree, he would have done a lot of damage. He could probably even counter the Reaper. Because Pharah is actually good because Reaper can't kill the Pharah. So going Pharah here would have been a very good option, which you didn't do and made your life a lot harder. Actually, with the Pharah, maybe could have the Pharah could have helped with the Symmetra's shield generator or teleporter. But okay, you group up. It was just the first fight.
Get on the objective. We cannot let it fall into their hands.
You're grouping up. La la la. Your Zenyatta is jumping. Okay, first thing. I would say that here is a bad spot to contest, in my opinion, as a Reinhardt, because it's really close to the enemy spawn. The enemy spawn is right there, and I don't think you have that good way of escaping as a Reinhardt very fast, because the enemy team will be here in just a moment. And when you want to recharge your shield, you don't have a corner to actually stay safe because they will be really close to you. So I would be more at the back or even at the buses. Back there, back that way, you have some buses, you could be there and you could contest them a bit more in the distance. Here I feel it's really close, and it's what's gonna happen is that you're gonna lose your shield and you don't have any option to go back. You just have to go in and die. So what's happening now? It's fight number 2, it's starting, and it's the shield war. Reinhardt shield versus Reinhardt shield. Let's see what happens. Another useless shield from your Zarya. You didn't even drop your shield, you were not charging. I don't think she gained that much energy from that. But okay. Shit, you lose the shield war really fast. So enemy Rein still has shield and you don't. And I gave a lot of remarks about your Zarya in the fight number 1, and in fight number 2 I have to give a lot of remarks about your Roadhog. Let's go a bit back. Your Roadhog right clicks once, he tries a hook against the Rein's shield, and I think he right clicks twice. Because I counted this already. 1, 2, there, okay. And then he reloads. So he doesn't... Roadhog is the main guy you have here to put pressure on him in his Rein's shield, and he only right clicks twice, and then he immediately hides and reloads. So not really that much pressure on the enemy's Rein's shield. That's one of the reasons why you lose the shield battle so fast. They have a D.Va which doesn't have to reload, and she just pounds your shield like hell. So your Roadhog misses another hook, and now here, fuck, this wall was really looking at you in a strange way, so you had to fuck that wall. No, I'm kidding, shit happens, okay? Overall in the game, I think you felt not very confident with your charges, and that's something you really need to practice. Try charging short distances and when the enemies are close to you, and try not to charge all the way up there in order to be very away from your team. That's really a bad charge. And you really need to practice your charges. Okay. So that wall gets fucked up. Your Zarya shields you again. I don't know why. You still have more than half your shield. Maybe she thought that the Reaper was a threat. He wasn't a threat. Now I want you to pay close attention to your Roadhog. What the hell? So Roadhog hook priorities. The squishies, the little guys first, not the fat D.Va. Roadhog had a pretty awesome target here because their Lucy was clearly out of position. Their Lucy should be back there, and this was a buffet for Roadhog, you know, like fuck, like heaven for Roadhog. Lucy there just hooked. Instead he goes to try to hook the D.Va. No, doesn't make any sense, okay? So your Roadhog needs to put more pressure on the enemy's Rein shield, and he needs to get good hooks, like people he can one-shot. The Lucio, the Reaper, not the D.Va, okay? So here as well could have been a good opportunity to charge in. For instance, you had their Lucio was really kamikaze and he's really out of position. You could have asked your Zarya for a shield and charge in. Okay, she gave you a shield anyway, but he didn't charge in. You happen to win the fight because Zarya uses her ult, and really good thing is that you didn't use yours. So a very bad option if you're about to die to use your ult, and very bad option to overlap it with Zarya's. In this case, I don't think it was necessary, and you actually win the fight and clean up. Sometimes it's necessary to use both. At least in this case was not. So, fight number 2. You win the fight. Okay, I think you actually clean up their team. And now there's gonna, in my opinion, this is gonna be the biggest mistake you do in this game as a team, and the one that influences you most, and why you get stumped. Spoiler alert, you get completely stumped. And it's because your teammates, they stay there really close to the enemy spawn. Your Roadhog finally gets the Lucio, but then their D.Va, I think she ulted probably, we can't hear it, but it was like really close to one another, the kills, so was D.Va ult, didn't have your shield to protect you, so your teammates die to the D.Va, and your Roadhog dies, is the last one to die. So, see it here, you are already back to the point, and to the payload, and your Roadhog dies now. Like, what the fuck? So what happens here is that you don't have the people to contest the payload now, and you're gonna have to wait for all your teammates. And when you're gonna start next fight number 3, your Roadhog is not gonna be there. He's not gonna arrive on time. He's always late because he was the last one to die. So you really gotta tell your teammates, back the fuck up. You died and your Zenyatta died, you had 2 less, and you were really close to the enemy spawn. That's a big no-no to start the next fight. 4 versus 6 without a Reinhardt and really close to their spawn. So this is a major mistake you do in this game. But at least at this point you realize that you're screwed, you come back, your McCree doesn't die, he was the only one who didn't die, and here you are. Your Zenyatta, your McCree, and you can't do anything. But it's cool, at least he didn't charge in. You know that he had to wait. Crazy flanking Symmetra, and check the Reaper there. Interesting Reaper. Your Zarya arrives, but your Mercy is there, so you're still missing the Roadhog. But now you have to contest, right? Because they're almost at the point. I hope that you were expecting this because you saw him there. I hope you communicated to your teammates. Your McCree does his job. Bam, he stuns him. Your Zenyatta ult was a bit too much. And actually, he misused his ult. You should have actually... You should have done this before. A bit earlier, and your Zenyatta shouldn't have used his ult. Because you were not really in danger because the McCree stunned him. Maybe just a little bit of lack of communication here, I don't know. But it was a bit unlucky, or maybe skill from the other team Zenyatta, that he ulted, so he doesn't get stunned. And enemy Zenyatta does really good job here because basically he nullifies your ult. Which your ult was good because the enemy Rein was stupid, he was on top of payload, so he gets stunned even though he had the shield. So you could have just charged the Lucio here, he was on the floor, it was an easy pick, and maybe he would probably even get him out of the range of the enemy Zenyatta. So another really thing which is really important with Reinhardt is you should be expecting the enemy Reins to ult. So as a Reinhardt, keep track of the enemy Reinhardt all the time. And let's think about it. On fight number 1, it was the first fight, he didn't ult. He didn't have charge probably. On fight number 2, he didn't ult either. So you are sure that he has his ult now, and basically you were not able to block his ult. But it was pretty obvious that after being stunned, he would probably think about using his ult. So as a Reinhardt, start thinking about tracking the other Rein's ult. Okay, that's very, very important and not that hard to do. So he stuns your team, and your Zenyatta already wasted his ults, so you're pretty much dead. And you have Symmetra kicking your support's ass. You charge back. Okay, pretty good. At least you didn't feed the enemy team, which is also, I forgot to say, in fight 2.5, that should never have existed. When your Roadhog, your Zarya, and your Mercy died, they were also feeding the enemy team ult, and that's also bad. So you charge back, cool. But hey, what about your Roadhog? You had a Roadhog, right? You're almost near your spawn, and your Roadhog's gonna die now. What the fuck, man? Like, the fight was lost. You realized that quite soon. You just charged back, and your Roadhog was still there. I can't. We didn't see him, so maybe they chased him. I don't know, but he for sure shouldn't have died at this time. So he was late for fight number 3. You started fight number 3 with just 5 people against 6, and you're gonna start next fight number 4, again with just 5 people against 6. And I think this was one of the main reasons why you got stumped so hard. Aha, bad news. Enemy has a teleporter. So what are your options to deal with enemy teleporter? Either you have a flanker that goes there, like a Tracer or a Diva, but it's or even a Pharah might be able to do that as well. It's a bit harder to do when you're defending, or you just need to win the fight fast enough to clean up and destroy the teleporter, and that's harder to do. And a Lucy would really help, and you don't have any of those, so you're in a pretty bad position to destroy the enemy's teleporter. Okay, you're charging your ult, very good. Now, there's some crazy shit going on here. Like, what the hell? Why is your McCree and your Zenyatta there? Why the fuck are they there? Like, they're poking at the enemy's shield, but why aren't they not behind your shield? The enemy team could actually... They're really exposed. The enemy team could go and kill them, and that's why you have a shield, huh? You're not shielding anyone, basically. I'm sorry, let's see why. Another reason why they really shouldn't be there. Aha! There's a fucking Reaper behind, flanking. He's really alone, so he's sort of an easy target. Your Zarya is like pew pew pew, but she can't kill him. And the Mercy is like healing. And where's your Zenyatta and your McCree when you need them? Huh? You could have maybe killed Reaper, and Reaper was a huge problem through the entire round. But okay, bad positioning, really bad positioning. You could have... Yeah, now start thinking about charging. Look, the enemy Rein is a bit distracted with the McCree. The McCree does his ult, he kills 2, so your Zarya kills the crazy flanking Symmetra, and they're out of supports. And I would say, and your Roadhog changed to Soldier, meaning that he's probably still in spawn and just joining the fight now, which already started. But I would say, well, yeah, I guess you can win the fight. You already killed 3 of them, right? Charge, charge, charge. So you didn't charge, but the enemy Reins did. He did a pretty good charge. He pins your Zarya, but luckily she shielded before he pinned her. And she doesn't die, but she gets really low. You kill him, and now there's a Reaper on the left side, and he kills your Soldier. Your Soldier, I'm sorry, this guy really had a bad day today, I guess, because he didn't do much as a Roadhog and just now joined the fight and died against some days shit happens. But I wanted to show you something here. I don't know if you noticed, but you could actually see the Reaper going left. There. I don't know if you told your team, but you should always expect the Reaper to flank, and your soldier. Maybe if you had told him, your soldier wouldn't have died. So now you don't have that much to go after them. Your soldier is dead. You have the Mercy, the Zen, and the Zarya. Yes, to go with you. Mercy with McCree there on the left. Your Zarya. Your Zen is still spawning, I think. Yeah. So right here, the only option you had, but I don't know if you would have been able to do that because they were spawning really fast as well because of teleporter, is you would have to clean up. You won the fight, you would need to go after them. But since your soldier died, a bit harder to do it, and without a Lucio, a bit even harder. But now you can't destroy the enemy's teleport. As well, just a small example of a really bad shield from your Zarya. She shields you here, like, what the fuck? She's running towards the spawn, I don't know why, maybe she's afraid of something, I don't know what, and she shields you here when the fight is basically over and there's no threat. And now, when you really need the shield because Symmetra is flanking you, yay, crazy attacking Symmetra. Now she doesn't have the shield. Pity. Reaper is going left again, and look at Reaper does the whole play here. Your McCree actually stuns and kills the Symmetra, and Reaper kills again the same play. Left side, Reaper kills the McCree, kills the Mercy, and kills you. Shit happens. So again, he did the same play and you were not able to counter it. Your Mercy couldn't res, and I think the fight is pretty much lost because they have teleporter, they're putting the pressure here. Yeah. I just want to... Your Mercy does a res, you have a Bastion here. I understand that you put a Bastion in order to surprise the enemy team, but I'm against being the Zenyatta picking the Bastion. You get just one support when you really need to stay alive here and you need some healing. Either a Lucio or a Ana would be very good here. So this is a mess. You're gonna use your ults. I would say that you should have focused on enemies Rein. But okay, and here you're gonna do a really bad charge because you're going to get away from the payload, and you're gonna leave your team behind, and you're not gonna help contest the payload. And Reaper, toughest luck, even so, Reaper appears and really pounds your ass. But it was pretty much lost, in my opinion, at this point. They had the momentum, they had the ult charge, so let's recap. In first fight, I corrected a lot of your Zarya's position and shield usage. Also, the way you played and the way you didn't keep your attention in the front line. You should always focus on the enemy's Rein. It's a Rein versus Rein. It's like a man thing. Fight all the time. And also, you didn't put enough pressure on the enemy team. Second fight as well, no pressure on enemy shield, and I mostly corrected your Roadhog. Your Roadhog hook priority and the lack of pressure on the enemy's shield. Then the crucial part is fight 2.5, who should never have happened. So your team should have backed up. Fight number 3, you misused the Zenyatta's ults. You were not expecting, or you didn't counter the enemy Rein's ult, which was pretty obvious. He didn't use it in the first 2 fights. And then fight number 4, already bad position from your McCree. and Zenyatta. The fact that your Roadhog again is late to the fight because he died again on fight number 3 really late when he should have backed up, so same mistake twice. You get flanked by the Reaper again the same way, and yeah, that's more or less it. So also running a Pharah, that's why it would have helped so much against the Reaper and against their comp, because they didn't have any hit scans. But if I would have to suggest to improve one thing is when you lose a fight, I think you as a Rein were able to identify it pretty well, but your team not, and you should back the fuck up so that you don't stagger and you don't die one by one, and that you start the next fight 6 versus 6. Yeah, that's it. Thank you a lot for sending me the VOD review. I would really like for you to work on these and maybe do another VOD review of you guys just playing another game and practicing these things better. I would really like to see you improve on these. And if there's anything you want to discuss, suggest, say anything, complain, just let me know. Thanks very much for watching. Bye.